Hajimemashite, watashi wa Jesper desu, and in this episode we're gonna talk about Japanese business customs and how to handle only staying one day in Japan and then traveling back. Please cue the music. So back in March when we launched Gonyo VR, we were met by a Japanese delegation at the CareWare conference. They were gracious enough to invite us to Japan for Health 2.0, which is a conference for all the new health technology in Japan. We were invited to pitch, to demo our tech and have a stand there. We planned it out so E had the ability to go a few days earlier than me, but I had to go at the very last moment, and that meant that I would have only one night to sleep in Japan and then it will be back to Denmark. Here's some footage. So I take my downtime very serious. I've spent this time putting the finishing touches on an article for Medium, seeing as I always have my iPad on me so I can always work. A few minutes till we board the plane to Tokyo, and then it's a 12-13 hour flight there. So I've now landed in Narita Airport. It's a little to 9 and I'm about to rush off to E, who's already at the conference. Okay, so after a lot of asking around and practicing my very poor Japanese, I think we found it right there. Curry Hall. Now it's a question of getting to the 9th floor and finding E. Alright, so now I'm in the dressing room, ready to get changed. My formal attire. Pitching contest is up. E is done live demoing. In a second I'm gonna meet him, but let's get changed first. So, quick change, feel like a new man. It's time to go meet E. So we're backstage again. Just got something to eat. He's getting some power for his computer. Then we're gonna pitch. So the thing about doing business in Japan, and I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I did a little bit of reading up on the subject before I went there. Because one of the things we had beside the conference was a meeting with one of the biggest insurance companies in Japan. And when you sit down with those kind of big people, you need to know what you're doing. One of the very interesting customs about when you sit down to a meeting is where to place one another. For example, if I am the senior of my own company, I'm going to sit on the side of the table that's closest to the door. Those who are junior to me are going to sit closer to the window. And the people who are my guests or who are the big cheeses of the meeting will be seated on the other side of the table. The reason why you do this, there's a special name for it. It's like the place of honor. If you're in a restaurant, for example, the juniors of me, who is hosting the meeting, will be closest to the door where there'll be most traffic and possibly most cold. And they're going to be the people who are going to handle the food. Another thing is the Japanese tradition or the Asian tradition of trading business cards. You don't just give it out, you trade it. And the way you trade it is you hold it out like this, and you wait for the other guy to take it, and you reach for his at the same time. And you have to read it with great interest before you pocket it. And there's a whole myriad of traditions and small customs that I have no idea about, but I felt the need to read up before I got there. So I was the most prepared. And of course I had to brush a little up on my Japanese, which is not good, but I managed to say stuff like dozo, domo arigatou gozaimashita, gomenne, things that make me barely understandable, and I could get away with just mimicking the rest of the stuff. Yasuko, who was our host, was so gracious. She showed us around to Japanese onsen, which is like this traditional Japanese bathhouse. After the conference, she took us out to a really nice traditional ramen noodle place. Sadly though, I couldn't get my favorite ramen noodles, but I got something else that I can't even pronounce, but that was very good. And then we got to sleep in like these traditional Japanese guest house, you know, with rice paper walls and tatami mats, and we slept on a futon, which was so awesome. We went there, we pitched. We didn't win the pitching contest, but we met a lot of interesting investors and we had a good meeting with the insurance company. When you go to a Japanese meeting, you have no idea of how it's going to pan out because there's this tradition of politeness. They're never going to say straight up if they want to deal with you. They won't say that they won't deal with you either because it's deemed rude if you do. So at some point you have to have the nerve to ask if they want to do business with you, because if you don't, they're gonna keep asking you to come and hold meeting and wait till you lose interest. One of the things that I was advised to do, and luckily we had Yasuko to help us, is to be our interpreter, our translator, and our kind of inside man to make sure that everything was going smoothly. More or less straight when I got home, I had arranged to have a meeting with the Copenhagen Health Tech Cluster to demo our tech as well. Copenhagen Health Tech Cluster is an organization that is there to facilitate the implementation of technology, primarily in the capital region, but also all over Denmark. And we're looking forward to a very healthy working relationship with these guys. Lastly, we're in talk with two of Denmark's biggest hospitals about having our technology tested on orthopedic patients, and we can't wait for that. It's going to be huge, and it's such a big deal for us to be acknowledged in a way and have our tech going out to two of the biggest hospitals in Denmark. So you guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you want to share the video. Please do. If you know anyone who wants to try out virtual reality for rehabilitation, please don't hesitate to write us. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Where it doesn't go down inside. So come away with me, baby. Joy